teeth, numb hands, -3 degrees cold, outside the four walls of my house. The four walls protected us from the cold winter of Koita. Sad though, the same four walls could not protect us from the horror of 10th of January 2030. The four walls could not protect us from the memories of that fateful night, when 130 human beings were not deemed human enough.
Grief in Pakistan has now given way to fears for the future. Pakistani authorities have come in for criticism for not doing enough to protect Shiite Muslims after Thursday's series of attacks, which claimed over 120 lives.
In 2013, within a 40 days, they killed more than 200 people in the two big suicide attacks. So we left Pakistan end of 2013 and went to Indonesia. I came with my family, a wife, two son and two daughter. It costs around $15,000 per person. So just multiply by 6. So it's a huge amount.
Ultimately handing your life into the hands of some random strangers. Crossing the Malaysian jungle to Indonesian jungle, it was pitch black. You could not see anything. I remember it was knee-deep mud, so you were kind of slipping and falling. The worst part of this whole journey was how helpless you are. And the people who are helping you cross these borders, they know how helpless you are and how vulnerable you are. And I think that's the part I hated the most. Just like looking at my father a lot of the times he was just plain helpless. For 7 months, there was nothing to do, and I feel like that's the time where I found it the hardest. Every time I would call back my friends in Pakistan, I would literally start crying. I would fight with my dad all the time that, deport me back to Pakistan because there's literally nothing to do. It was a black hole. One day my dad came home and asked me, would you like to be a teacher? And I was like, well, I'd like to be anything just to get out of this, boredom.
Me and my few friends came to some conclusion, why not we can start some of our own activities?
They rented out a small place. It was a 2-room house.
We started with just 18 students, but later on it went to bigger and bigger and bigger. And at some stage there was almost 300 students was in that learning centers.
It gave us a sense of community because then all of a sudden you were in a place where everyone is going through the same thing and everyone understands everyone. Together we want to, change our lives.
Welcome back as we get ready to see the Waikato men's team take on Otago University men's team.
My elder son, he is in Christchurch, so he's playing a university futsal league. Yes. When we came to the New Zealand, Madiha inspired me at that time. Said, "Papa, what kind of life you are going to start here? So we are not going to start like to stand on the queue for asking for the benefits, something like. We have to start a normal life." Got my first job, so I started work with the Red Cross as a cross-culture worker. I got another job in the office called named Rock Trust, Refugee Orientation Center Trust. So I just started there as an interpreter. Hi, Jenny. I'm saying, thank you for coming. But now, after 3 years, I'm the executive director of the organization. Especially former refugees, they don't know are they eligible for the vote or no. Even one family is now he's a citizen, but he still don't know. Oh, I'm eligible for the vote.
Getting into housing is the first priority. Yeah. The voting is like the 10th priority in the list of things to do.
If someone is, participating in the elections from the countries, from the former refugee countries, I'm very happy because they start feeling belonging to the land. Another project which we are running is we call the gardening project, Rock Community Gardening Project. That is very close to me. Hi, good morning.
Good morning.
How are you? Good to see you.
Good.
Start preparing for the spring, yeah?
Yeah.
Do you have any plan for this year for the plot?
In the down the long bean, in the middle like the cucumber.
So we have around 50 plots over there. So the people are coming, 50 families. Just imagine the 50 families coming from different backgrounds, from 14 to 15 different countries, sharing the food, sharing the culture, sharing, learning things.
I love gardening. I'm from Democratic Republic of Congo. I have been here in New Zealand for 7 years now. I will try to have my foods which we normally eat from my home country, DRC. So having this is a sign of remembering what I have left back home.
Hello, everybody. Barbecue.
You're welcome.
Basically, behind the idea of the gardening project, they have their land, they start growing something like that, and when they're taking some fruit from that one, so that is giving them more sense of belonging.
A lot of the things that I do are kind of inspired by his teachings. I feel like he's always been big on community. He's always told us ever since we got to New Zealand that now that you're here, make sure that you give back to New Zealand society. I'm doing a Bachelor's of Law, and it's my 3rd year, and I've got 1 more year to go before I graduate.
How are you? I'm good. How are you? Good to see you.
Uni, the first year, I found it hard. It was hard for me to make friends. I always had that question of like, I do not belong in this room in the back of my head always, because I'm a Muslim woman who wears the hijab, and I walk into a room and I feel like I stand out.
Right.
It took me a while for me to find my grounding and be like, you know, this is who I am, but at the same time, you know, I'm contributing, I'm part of the New Zealand society.
Some new families came from Afghanistan. So they just last month came to Hamilton. So I'm going to visit those families, enroll them in some different programs. Assalamu alaikum. I mean, the biggest challenge is the language issue. The second is a cultural shock. When the refugees are coming, one of the issue is the confidence level, because of they spend their whole life in some refugee camp and trauma and all those things. It takes years to get that confidence come back to them, and they can start at a normal life.
Bro!
Hi.
What's up? So remember I told you that there was something coming up for me?
Yes.
Guess what? I'm going to Geneva.
No way.
Yes.
That's so cool. Congratulations.
Thank you. And not only I'm going to Geneva, but I will also be speaking at the UN. How cool is that?
That's awesome. Yeah, I'm super proud of you.
Thank you.
I was invited to deliver the NGO statement at the 73rd UNHCR Executive Committee meeting in Geneva.
Madiha Ali, you have the floor, madam.
With unprecedented global forced displacement, self-reliance models needs to be the norm rather than the exception when planning assistance and response to ongoing crisis. No matter how good your intention is, if you're not involving people with lived experiences in the decisions that impact them the most, is harmful. Currently, there are still 80-point-something million people who are forcibly displaced worldwide. That means 80 million people who do not know what the future holds for them. And out of those 80 million people, we were privileged enough, we were lucky enough to get to New Zealand, resettle, find home, be able to go after our dreams.